Hey everybody, welcome to WCAX. A very special guest today. So, as a lot of you might already know, we are celebrating 70 years of news here at WCAX, and none of that would be able to happen with people behind the scenes like our executive producer, Sam Shin. So, Sam, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for hopping on.
Oh, it's my greatest pleasure to be here on
Absolutely.
my WCAX debut.
Yeah.
Honored to be here.
Run me through a few things. You've been here for a little bit. You've been a little bit longer than I have. Run me through, you're from Vermont, you're working in Vermont. You didn't start in this position. Tell me your trajectory on
Sure didn't know. It
WCAX.
all started on a beautiful sunny Wednesday.
Yep.
In a year that I will not specify because it is no one's business but my own.
All right.
And that was in the Rutland Regional Hospital.
Oh.
Yep, born and raised in Rutland. So
Oh, okay.
cut to today.
Yeah.
Cut to today. Born and raised in Rutland. I've worked here for 2 years. I'm now our executive producer, but I did start as our weekend morning producer.
Gotcha.
Produced the 4 for a while, and then somehow got my foot in the door, and now
Yeah.
I'm kind of behind the scenes running a little bit of how this all works.
So give me kind of a lowdown of what your normal day looks like for you, especially now in your newer role. So.
I wake up, I feed my cat,
Okay.
I listen to the
Good.
new Lady Gaga album, which came out today, Harlequin. And
She is a big Lady Gaga fan, by
big
the way.
Lady Gaga
Yeah.
fan. Thank you. Come here. We get an idea, the managers, about kind of what's happening on a day-to-day basis, and prepare the day for the reporters before we have a meeting with them to kind of talk about what stories they might be working on, how they might be doing that. We talk it through, and then as the day goes by, I'm kind of overseeing our newscast, so our noon broadcast, helping out, throwing things in, helping make graphics.
Yeah.
And then we do our afternoon meeting to kind of get everything set up for the evening broadcasts.
Yeah.
And then I'm just helping our producers out most of the day. And I sometimes get the pleasure to work on a special project like our 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
A couple other examples are like the eclipse and the flooding anniversary show that we did. So
Yeah.
it's good time. I'm looking a lot.
There's one thing I think you haven't done. You come in on the morning show.
Oh.
Wake up with all of us.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I'm saving it for marriage.
Come on,
I'll
it's so
come
much
on
fun.
soon.
Yeah.
I'll come on soon. It's it'll be a real pleasure.
Yeah.
You guys have a good team.
Yeah. But as far as this goes, we're in just a few minutes. We're gonna take a look at Darren Perrin's package, looking back at 7 decades of news, and especially with something like this. We're streaming and we have live interviews with people in the studio. What do you think is one of the hardest parts of your job?
It gets intense in these afternoons, especially our assistant news director sometimes will leave the newsroom for whatever reason as his right, and then I think that the universe watches that happen and then smites me, sending 3 different elements of breaking news 15 minutes before the show. So at that point, we're all scrambling as fast as we can to not only get this news confirmed and written in a good way that makes sense, but get those graphics in, make sure that our anchors get an eye on it. So it can be really stressful, but as an adrenaline junkie, it's also a great time. So,
No, absolutely. Yeah.
And not in the moment.
In the moment,
it's
pretty,
like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, let's do it again.
Yeah. So that's all at work, right? Where are you from in Vermont? You grew up here.
Well, yes. Didn't you hear me say I was born and raised in Rutland?
Yeah.
That's a point of pride for me. Born and raised, grew up watching Darren Perrin. I remember And
how does it feel now to work with the man himself?
With a close friend.
But very closely now too.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
I remember in 5th grade going to school and being like, guys, his name is Darren Perrin. His name rhymes. This is crazy. Have you seen him? And everyone, of course, has seen him.
Yeah.
So just to it's such an honor. And I was thinking yesterday during his package, which we'll soon show you, it is such an honor to work here with the people who you grow up watching on TV. And to be a part of the history really is just a special thing.
Yeah, and I think I especially, and to your point too, you see that firsthand. I know, for example, when I was out in Rutland for the Whoopie Pie Festival, Gary, so many people came up to Gary.
Oh my goodness, yes. Gary is a fan favorite.
Yeah. He put us all down.
Yeah.
Pretty. Yeah. He was Mr. Popular that day.
He is Mr. Popular. Everybody loves Gary. It's just amazing to work with these people and to know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we see not Vermont celebrities necessarily, but celebrities can be,
maybe not
catty or not the nicest, but these are genuinely nice and good people who it really has been such an honor to get to know even closer and learn from.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most valuable part, especially I worked on the 4 for a while, our 4 o'clock broadcast, tune in. And working with Kat and learning so much from Kat really was so important to kind of how I do things now on a day-to-day basis. So it's been an honor.
No, absolutely. And I think, with that in mind, we can take a look back over, over 7 decades now. We'll pull up this this package from Darren Perrin and see how we've changed over this time.
Strap in, folks.
WCAX's roots are in radio, and it all began with a newspaper man, C.P. Hasbrook, who moved to Vermont in 1938, bought a local paper, and with it came a 100-watt radio station. The reach, not far, and he wanted to expand, so he roped in an engineer to help, his stepson, Stuart Red Martin. Together, though, they saw the future of broadcasting in television and set out to do what had never been done before in Vermont. The state's tallest peak, Mount Mansfield, would make their dream a reality, a monumental feat, building a road to get there and a transmitter to sit on top. And on September 26th, 1954,
WMVT telecasting on Channel 3 from the top of Vermont.
WCAX, aka Channel 3, was on the air, and television transmitted into living rooms, though some Vermont residents seemed reluctant to tune in at first.
A short time ago, I made the remark that I wouldn't have a television set in my house. I've had it a few months now, and after watching it for some time, I wouldn't trade it for the best cow I've got in my barn.
WCAX quickly became the place to get news and entertainment from people like Dusty Boyd, Helen Workman, and Ken Green, who hosted the popular show Dance Date.
Who's that?
Diane Lucy.
Nice to have you with us, Diane.
It instantly changed lives.
Hasbrook stepped down in 1958 and Red Martin took over. The engineer's commitment to the best technology put WCAX ahead of other news stations across the country. In the 1960s, WCAX had more up-to-date tech than the CBS Evening News, and a trio of broadcasters defined Channel 3 News. News anchor Richard Mickey Gallagher.
And that's our report this Thursday evening. I'm Richard Gallagher.
Sports anchor Tony Adams.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to University of Vermont Hockey Live here on Channel 3.
And weather anchor Stuart Hall.
This is the weather, this is the time. Time to say so long till we meet again.
And we'd meet again every Monday through Friday evening for decades. Mickey Gallagher's nose for news lifted Channel 3 to a news leader in Vermont. And bucking the norm, WCAX expanded its 6 o'clock broadcast to an hour, unheard of in the U.S. And the state's dedication to political coverage and in-depth reporting really began.
Can the Board of Medical Practice actually start an investigation of a doctor without a formal complaint from a patient?
And in 1967, a young but extremely talented reporter arrived at WCAX. Marcellus Parsons became the Dan Rather of Vermont and quickly rose through the ranks. And in 1984, fate intervened.
Good evening, I'm Marcellus Parsons. The man who delivered this news for 20 years is dead. Richard Gallagher, whom we all knew as Mickey, died this afternoon of a massive heart attack. He had just turned 58 this past Monday.
Mickey Gallagher had just finished recording the station's still popular talk show, You Can Quote Me, left for lunch, and never returned.
We shall all miss him a lot. Rest in peace, Mickey.
And Marcellus Parsons became the lead anchor and news director.
Good evening, I'm Marcellus Parsons. Good evening, I'm Marcellus Parsons. Starting tomorrow...
The report is that the governor's driver came to his house this morning and found him dead.
Parsons was even more of an institution. Generations of Vermonters grew up watching him, alongside a host of other long-timers like Sharon Meyer, J.J. Toffee, Sarah Conji, his first co-anchor, and Kristen Kelly. He led the news department during a time of great change, in both how news was covered.
The film was processed, you could look at it and say, all right, that's the scene I want.
And how we gathered it for you to watch, through sources like satellites and an ENG truck.
And once again, we are at war. And if there are developments in the Persian Gulf, we will bring them to you as they occur.
But we plan to bring you also this bicentennial look at
Reporters could now be live on location for massive undertakings like our bicentennial coverage in 1991 and for reporting news as it happens. As times and technology changed, so did familiar faces. And in 2009, Marcellus Parsons retired, and a young reporter from the Northeast Kingdom, whose dream was to work for Channel 3 News, was named as Parsons' replacement.
Good evening, I'm Kat Billianzoni.
And I'm Darren Perrin. That would be me. Involving the developers up at JP, I'd been learning from the best of the best for the previous 15 years. It was about that time when WCAX expanded again. More broadcasts, sister stations, social media, and the station grew its website, which modestly began in 1996. WCAX was owned by the Martin family until 2017, when Gray Television purchased the company. At first, there were fears. Would the acquisition change what people like Red Martin, Mickey Gallagher, and Marcellus Parsons had built? I'm happy to report it didn't. Gray came in with deep pockets and invested even more in the best tools of the trade. Mr. Martin would have been pleased. But in 2019, the tower that brought TV to Vermont caught fire, a transmitter blaze that could be seen from across much of the region. And once again, Vermont had no over-the-air television. Temporary antennas got us back on the air quickly, but a permanent fix would take months. More changes have happened since then. A growing news department with greater technology.
Just the scene here, it's with the lake, the mountains, the sun. This is just,
I mean, it honestly, we've
the
said
definition of breathtaking.
That's what made me feel chills and tears. Something that's going to be in their minds for the rest of their life.
But throughout all of our 70 years, this remained the same. The station's commitment to accuracy, fairness, and community.
Real interesting look back in time, and especially we're hoping for the next 70 years goes just as smoothly.
Just brought a tear to my eye. I mean, Darren did such a good job on that piece, and in 70 is a weird year, you know what I mean? Because for 50 years, it's a huge deal. We did a whole special. 60 years, Creative Services did this awesome made-for-TV movie that I think is on YouTube that you can watch, like an hour-long or half an hour-long in-depth look at WCAX history. But 70 is a weird year. 75 we'll do something big, but I think we did just the right amount. Darren's package was an amazing comprehensive look, and especially
very thoughtful look too, especially with a lot of former anchors have moved on and everything else like that. So
totally,
nice.
And you know, it's cool to see the work that we've done be a part of this history. Last night on my way home, right after seeing Darren's package and the Eclipse was in there, I produced our whole Eclipse special, which was like the most amazing thing that I've ever done. It's my magnum opus, the peak of my life. To see that in there really touched me, and it's so cool to be a part of this, and it's just a big honor.
Yeah, no, definitely it'll keep changing, and the news will happen tomorrow,
and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Yep. That's the best part of the business, and the worst part.
Yeah, I think we should bring back some, what was it, Dance Date?
Oh, Dance Date. Everybody loves Dance Date. We get calls every week about Dance Date. People would like the Dance Date clips. I wish that we had them to give you, but unfortunately all we have, not kidding at all we have, I will say it one more time, all we have of Dance Date is in that package. Go to our website, watch it again, watch it 1,000 times. We're really sorry. I would love to do something like that again, though. Like, can you imagine if we did that now?
Just to start cooking chickens and turkeys in the morning show,
Let's do it.
Cool. I feel like the dating show, like the... Anyway,
let's hook up some singles.
So we're looking forward to the next 70 years and whatever that brings our way. But so happy to have you on, Sam, and of course bring some of this to life.
It's just my honor to be here, John. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, Sam, thanks so much. And of course, you can see Peter is off the rest of the day, so you can see me again, Channel 3 News at noon. All of our evening shows that our wonderful Sam Shin helps produce as well, or she produces.
It's a team effort.
All of our content on WCAX.com. But with that in mind, I think I'll let you guys go, get on with your day, and have a good one.